What if I told you that a humble Bic pen, costing mere pennies, hides a jaw-dropping engineering marvel within its plastic shell? Stick around to discover the fascinating machines and precision behind the world's most iconic writing tool. At the very start of a Bic pen's life, it begins as humble plastic pellets. These tiny granules, made from polypropylene and polystyrene, hold the potential to transform into the barrels, caps, and ink tubes we recognize. But first, they must go through a high-tech metamorphosis inside an injection molding machine. Here's how it works. The plastic pellets are fed into a hopper and heated until they reach a molten, honey-like consistency. This molten plastic is then injected at high pressure into steel molds shaped like the pen components. Imagine liquid plastic being shot into these molds with enough force to ensure every detail is precise, down to the millimeter. Once inside, the plastic cools and solidifies rapidly. Hydraulic pins then inject the hardened pieces, instantly resetting the molds for the next cycle. This entire process takes mere seconds. Efficiency is the name of the game here. Each machine produces thousands of components every hour, operating with mechanical precision. And it's not just about quantity. These machines are designed for uniformity. Every pen barrel, cap, and tube is indistinguishable from the next. Yet, each plays a vital role in the product's final assembly. Injection molding may not sound glamorous, but it's the backbone of mass production. And here's a fun perspective. Every time you click a Bic pen, you engage with a piece of plastic shaped, cooled, and molded with engineering perfection. Not bad for something made by machines that are practically sprinting on a production line. Now, take a moment to think about the tip of a Bic pen. It's tiny, inconspicuous, yet arguably the most critical part of the entire design. Creating it requires a level of precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker nod in approval. The process begins with sheets of brass being fed into industrial stamping machines. These machines operate at dizzying speeds, punching out hundreds of pen tips each minute with impeccable accuracy. Every stamped tip measures just fractions of a millimeter, perfectly engineered to seat the tiny ballpoint. Speaking of the ballpoint, here's where things reach a whole new level of precision. These balls are crafted from tungsten carbide, a material so robust that it's also used in armor-piercing ammunition and cutting tools. But what's truly remarkable is how these tiny spheres are crafted. Raw tungsten powder is shaped into rough spheres and then polished to within a micron of perfection using abrasive pastes. For perspective, a human hair is about 70 microns thick. That's how precise we're talking. Quality control here is no joke. Any ball that doesn't meet the exacting standards is scrapped instantly. Once the perfect tungsten balls are ready, they're pressed into the brass tips. But placement is key. They're positioned just loosely enough to roll smoothly, but tightly enough to never pop out. Think of it as the Goldilocks zone for ballpoints. When assembled, this tiny duo turns into the MVP of every Bic pen. It's what lets you sketch, sign, and write smoothly for kilometers without a hiccup. And here's a wild thought. That little ballpoint is rolling ink onto paper while maintaining perfect rotation, no matter the angle or pressure applied by the user. The next time you're jotting down a grocery list, give a nod to the miraculous engineering happening right under your thumb. The ink in a Bic pen might look ordinary, but it's far from it. This isn't some simple dye and water combo. No. Crafting the ink is like creating a gourmet dish, and Bic's recipe is a tightly kept secret. What we do know is that the ink is oil-based and designed for ultimate consistency and longevity. It needs to be thick enough to stay put inside the tube, but fluid enough to glide effortlessly across paper. This delicate balance is achieved through a blend of pigments, kerosene, surfactants, and other proprietary ingredients that we can only guess at. To get it just right, Batches of ink are mixed in massive tanks, monitored by high-tech control systems. Temperatures are carefully regulated, and ingredients are added in specific sequences to ensure they combine perfectly. The pigment provides the color, kerosene helps with the flow, and surfactants keep the ink from clogging the ballpoint mechanism. Before the ink is approved, it undergoes rigorous testing. Machines check its viscosity, drying time, and flow rate. If even one batch performs below standards, it gets scrapped. Filling the pens with ink is a production marvel on its own. There are two main methods for this step. One involves injecting the ink directly into the pre-assembled ink tube, while the other fills the tube before it's sealed with the metal tip. The second method includes an extra step, where workers use a centrifuge to ensure the ink flows to the ballpoint and eliminates any air pockets. Now, think about this. The typical Bic pen can scribble a continuous line approximately 2 to 3 kilometers long before it runs out of ink. That's a marathon of performance from a device that costs mere cents. This longevity is no accident. The specially formulated ink, combined with the precision of the tungsten ball, ensures that every drop is used efficiently. And here's a dazzling twist about the pen you might not expect. Manufacturers even create it to be fade-resistant and smudge-proof under most conditions. It's designed to leave clear, consistent marks that stand the test of time. Whether you're writing a shopping list or signing a historic document, that ink is doing more than you realize. It's performing like a tiny oil-based superfluid engineered just for you. With all the components ready, it's time to bring them together. Enter the assembly line, a network of interconnected machines and robotic arms that move to a well-choreographed rhythm. Think of it as a symphony where each instrument has a defined role in creating something remarkable. The process starts with the ink tubes. These are securely placed into the barrels by robotic arms designed for speed and accuracy. Another set of machines works to screw in the brass tips, complete with their tungsten ballpoints. This step requires precision down to the micrometer, ensuring that the ballpoint aligns correctly to deliver the ink perfectly. But we're not done yet. The caps are snapped onto the finished barrels, marking the pen's final shape. If you've ever wondered why the cap fits so snugly, it's because every measurement is calculated and executed with surgical precision. The gripping mechanisms seamlessly integrated by automated clips that do their job in milliseconds. The assembly line doesn't just produce pens, it produces them on an industrial scale. Bic's factories churn out millions of units every single day, driven by a combination of automation and upfront ergonomic design. It's easy to overlook the complexity of this step when holding a pen in your hand. But don't be fooled. What's happening behind the scenes is a masterclass in engineering redundancy and streamlined production. If you thought the production ends at the assembly, think again. Every Bic pen is put through a rigorous gauntlet of quality controls before it even sees the light of day. We're not just talking about casual inspections either. These tests are as thorough as they are relentless. To start, lasers scan key components like the ink tube, tip alignment, and ball rotation. The tiniest irregularity is flagged immediately. And when we say tiny, we mean it. A millimeter-sized gap or misalignment is enough to send the batch back for adjustments. Next, the pens are tested for their primary function. Machines press the pens against paper, rapidly scribing lines to test the ink's flow, consistency, and longevity. These tests simulate real-world use, like signing documents or intense note-taking sessions. If a pen isn't up to scratch, the entire batch is recycled to ensure only the best make it out of the factory. Quality testing doesn't stop at function. The structural integrity of the pen is also evaluated. Caps and barrels are subjected to drop tests and resilience measurements, ensuring they hold up to everyday use. Even the ballpoints are tested to confirm they roll smoothly and dispense ink evenly, no matter what angle they're held at. Bic pens may be inexpensive, but their unforgiving quality standards are a big part of why they've become a global staple. If you've clicked open a fresh Bic pen recently, you're holding a product that's passed more tests than some luxury goods. Finally, we arrive at the last step in the pen's incredible journey. Once they pass quality testing, the pens are packed into neat sets of 6, 18, or sometimes more, ready to be distributed around the globe. But the beauty of Bic's operations isn't just in their efficiency, it's in their reach. These pens end up in offices, schools, and homes in virtually every corner of the planet. Logistics play a huge role here. With a supply chain that spans multiple continents, Bic has perfected the art of managing global demand. Trucks and freight containers leave their factories daily, delivering pens to warehouses and stores. And here's something to ponder. Each of these millions of pens costs less than a penny to produce, but they're shipped with the same care and precision you might expect for fine jewelry. What's even more fascinating is that the humble Bic Crystal pen can be found in places as diverse as rural villages and the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. That's right, folks. This everyday object has been celebrated as a marvel of industrial design, cherished for its simplicity and impact on modern life. From start to finish, every Bic pen tells a story of ingenuity. It's not just a tool for writing. It's a symbol of engineering brilliance that is seamlessly integrated into our lives. Next time you hold one, take a second to appreciate the machinery, dedication, and global effort that made it possible. And there you have it, folks. The next time you pick up a Bic pen, try to look at it a little differently. There's a lot more to its story than meets the eye. This little stick of genius has been through high-tech molding, metalworking, polishing, and precision assembly, all to land in your hands for a few cents. Now, go ahead and use it like the engineering marvel it is. And while you're at it, think about the incredible machines and people behind its creation. See you in the next video.